the fierce rivalry and rich history between two boxing dynasties, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. As the sons of legendary fighters, their journey inside the ring is not just about personal glory, but also about living up to the legacy of their fathers. We have Conor Benn, the son of the formidable Nigel Benn, known as the Dark Destroyer. Nigel's explosive power and aggressive style made him a feared contender in the ring. Conor, too, has sought to honor his father's name, showcasing his own knockout power and relentless work ethic.
We are not allowed to be normal. I've been in fights where I wanted to wet myself, the beating was so bad, but I had no choice.
You get the feeling that Eubank is just waiting. No, what about that? That is the side over. What a finish. Oh, my God almighty.
On the other side, we have Chris Eubank Sr., who was known for his flamboyant style and indomitable spirit. A former two-weight world champion, Eubank Sr. captivated audiences with his tenacity and charisma. His son, Chris Eubank Jr., has embraced this legacy, carving out his own path as a skilled and determined fighter, with aspirations to match his father's illustrious career. Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn forged one of British boxing's most heated rivalries.
I have to say there seems an element of genuine hate between these two, Ambrose.
For sure. I don't hate the man. I just wanted the WBO title. I pray that I have enough dignity not to hate the man.
Exactly.
Hate doesn't come into it for me. Hate destroys the game and makes it look brutal, and that's why a lot of people don't take to it. I don't hate the man. I want a man's title, and I intend to prove that I'm a better fighter than a man, which I am.
All right, gentlemen.
I personally do hate him. I personally do hate him.
Their first clash, in 1990, was a brutal, high-stakes showdown that left both fighters bloodied and battered.
Chris Eubank is tougher than what I expected. He caught me in about the fourth round. In my eye, I couldn't see a thing, but I'm not taking nothing away from Eubank. What a tremendous fighter he is. He deserves it, man. He deserves it.
With Eubank ultimately taking the victory by TKO in the 9th round. Their contrasting personalities, Eubank's confident flamboyance against Benn's gritty, aggressive style, only fueled the animosity. By the time they faced off again in 1993, the tension was electric.
And having the close-shaved haircut for the first time now. Well, I don't know whether it helped with the slip punches a little bit.
See, I think from their first meeting, Reg, Eubank is the one who's been doing most of the improving. I don't think Benn's really get any better at all. But Eubank now has the confidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, here are the score totals. 115, 113, Chris Eubank. 114, 113, Nigel Benn.
One each.
114 to 114, even a draw, the decision.
Yes, it's a draw.
Their rematch ended in a controversial draw, with each man believing he had done enough to win. The rivalry between Eubank and Benn transcended the ring, becoming a clash of pride, ego, and determination that captured the attention of an entire nation. Now, decades later, that fierce legacy lives on through their sons. The excitement surrounding a potential fight between Eubank Jr. and Benn has been building for years. Their shared history and familial legacies have created a narrative that resonates deeply with boxing fans worldwide. Both fighters were poised to meet in the ring in what promised to be an electrifying clash, a generational showdown that fans had long awaited. Initially, the matchup was announced with great fanfare, igniting conversations about not just their individual skills, but the history that loomed over them. Their fathers had faced off in the 1990s, a rivalry that defined a generation of boxing.
And what about the idea, from a legacy perspective, of being able to do this with both of the history of your fathers who took each other on with such iconic fights? Conor, how does that feel to be sort of stepping into the ring in that way?
Well, the last fight ended in a draw, so we all know how that fight really went and who should have won. So, it's only right I get this victory.
The idea of the next generation continuing that legacy was tantalizing for fans and pundits alike. However,
now, the big breaking news right now in the world of boxing is that the big fight on Saturday between Conor Benn failed a drugs test. He was found to have taken a fertility drug. It was just
the anticipation turned to disappointment when the fight was abruptly cancelled due to Conor Benn failing a drug test. This shocking revelation sent ripples through the boxing community, Benn's positive test for a banned substance raised concerns and led to heated debates about fairness, responsibility, and the pressure that athletes face in the ring. In the aftermath, both fighters expressed their disappointment. Eubank Jr. felt robbed of an opportunity to showcase his skills.
Too little, too late. It's just, he needs to just man up, because it doesn't matter what you think you can say or prove. Public opinion is not going to change. You failed 2 drug tests, people think you're a cheat, and that's it. No scientists or lawyers or 270-page essays are going to change people's minds, the general public's minds. It's just not going to happen. Not after 3 months of radio silence. So, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. But yeah, I really don't think it's going to help the guy.
Benn denies ever taking the drug but faces the consequences, which not only impacted his career but also put a stain on the excitement that had been building for their matchup.
Let's assume for a moment your theory is right. It's a theory. It's not proven scientifically yet and hasn't been ratified by any governing body. But if your theory is right, it was contaminated, it would prompt the question, well, why? Who would want to do that?
It would be the only way it would be contamination if it is.
In whose interest is it to ruin this great fight?
I'm not saying it was deliberate. What, in the lab? I'm not saying it was deliberate. It may be an error in the testing. I'm not saying deliberately. I'm not saying that anyone's in the labs deliberately done this. I'm not saying that at all, but it may be an accident. It may be an error.
As we look ahead, the excitement around a future fight remains palpable. Will Eubank Jr. and Benn settle the score? Their fathers' epic battles have created a narrative that is as compelling as it is rich. And now it's their turn to write the next chapter. As the anticipation builds for what may come next, one thing is certain: the world will be watching. Thanks for joining us in this exploration of 2 of boxing's brightest stars. Like and subscribe for more documentaries that dive deep into the stories behind the sport.